Everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. Myself, Vaibhav. In today's session of Market Movers, we will be considering the USD JPY, which has been in the downward spiral, and even in today's session, it has experiencing a free fall, starting from level close to 107.2 to now almost close to 106.7, which is a fall of 50 pips. And the major reason has been the risk on sentiments which have been prevalent in the market starting from yesterday's session. Once the news came in of the positive announcement from the Moderna regarding the vaccine's phase 1 trial, and that has helped the revival of the risk on sentiments, and USD has been back foot since then, and these sentiments I think are likely to prevail, and we will see further pressure in the USD. So because of that, the USD JPY fall is likely to continue for next couple of session. If you consider the data rocket for the day, we got these CPI numbers for the United Kingdom, and here the reading is better than the expectation. And if you consider the readings for the month of June, now if we consider the year-on-year number, the CPI is at 0.6%, and in terms of month-on-month, the figure stands at 0.1%, and both these readings are better than the expectation. And as a result of that, you can see some stride in the GBP steps, and the GBP has gained considerably in today's session. Moving on to the North American trading session, we had a lot of data releases for the United States, and the important of that has been this industrial production. And here we have seen rise in terms of month on month. The economic activity picked up in June, and as a result of that, the industrial production is up 5.4% for the month of June. But in terms of year on year numbers, that is, if we compare the industrial production of the June 2020 to the amount of activity which was done in the June 2019, it is still below that levels, and there is a decline of 10.8%. So these are kind of mixed readings. And just a while back, we got the Bank of Canada's interest rate announcement, and here, as expected, there is no change in the monetary policy, and the interest rates have been left unchanged at 0.25%. And also, the quantitative easing program, under which the Bank of Canada is buying the government bonds at 5 billion Canadian dollars, that operations are going to continue. And if you consider its forecast, it is not expecting the inflation to pick up at least till late 2022. And because of that, we are not really looking at the rise, further raising of interest rates in near future. And of course, if you want more details, you will have to access the Bank of Canada's monetary policy statement. And also there is a press conference by the governor of Bank of Canada. Now moving on to the commodity segment, we are scheduled to get the EI's crude oil inventory data, and here the expectation is that we will see a drawdown of around 2 million barrels for the week ended 10th of July. And if this comes as expected, I am expecting this upward momentum which we are seeing in the light crude to sustain, and we will also consider the technical aspects of the light crude in today's session to see if there is any trading opportunity for us to exploit. Now moving on to the technical segment, first we start with the USD JPY's technical outlook. This is the USD JPY's daily time frame chart, and as I said, after consolidating closer to these 107 levels, the USD JPY is experiencing further fall on the downside, and in today's session it has been a free fall of sort for the USD JPY with losses in the vicinity of 50 pips. And here for last 2 months, the USD JPY has been fairly range bound with buying momentum, buying support coming in around 106 level, and even in the second half of June, we saw the revival happening closer to those levels. But this time around, again, the selling pressure is coming back, and I am fairly confident that this time around we will likely see the USD JPY breaking below this immediate swing low and falling below the 106 level. Yesterday's session we were considering the possibility of USD JPY reviving from current levels and heading back to 108 levels, but that didn't really happen, and it has broken below our crucial markers, and because of that now the outlook has changed from being on the bullish side to being on the bearish side. And here, as things stand, I would say that this is the market to go for the strategy of sell on rallies, and we will see what can be the levels which will be providing us the good risk reward ratio. So here the formation is of lower highs and lower lows. If we omit these prior consolidation phase and start from these month starting days. So here, after struggling to hold above the central pivot point, we have seen USD JPY struggle below this central pivot point and consolidate, and then the selling pressure came again and pushed the USD JPY prices lower. And this time around also we saw this consolidation happening around this 107.4 zone, and then there is a further break on the downside, and there is no immediate support inside till this first support of this month's pivot point series. And here, if we consider this the prior swing low, that is also there around the similar levels. So till 106 we don't really have any major support in play, and because of that we can expect the USD JPY to continue to fall if it breaks below this immediate swing low and forms a fresh low. That will add further impetus to the continuing bearish momentum, and we will see the USD JPY going down toward these 106 levels. So if that is going to happen, I would say that we can utilize these SMAs, the confluence of 50 and 100 SMA, to look out for any fresh opportunities to get involved on the short sale side. And as long as the USD JPY is trading below these 100 SMA, I would say that we have fair bit of chances to go for fresh shorting opportunities in the USD JPY. And if the price action remains in the bearish territory, we will see these 50 SMA also crossing below 100 SMA, and that is going to act as a further confirmation of our bearish bias. So here we can expect to go for any short sale opportunity in the vicinity of 107.0 to 107.10 with possible stop loss just little above these 200 SMA. So any stop loss of around 107.3 to 107.4 will be good enough. So for a risk of around 30 pips on the lower side, you can target almost 60 to 70 pips. So even conservatively speaking, we will have a risk reward ratio of 1 is to 2 or even more than that if things hold well this time around. As I have said while explaining the daily time frame chart, if there is a possibility of USD JPY continuing in the bearish momentum, then if it is able to break below the prior swing low of 106, then the floodgates will open and we will have a lot of room on the lower side to move lower for the USD JPY. Moving on to the light crude's technical outlook, here we have this retracement zone retracement happening for almost 2 months now, 3 months. We are pretty close to the 3 months time frame, and these days when the light crude had even gone into negative territory, and now the light crude has rebounded from those precarious days, and it has been kind of range bound for last almost a month now around this 40 zone. And if you consider the price action, it has traded in a very narrow range, and here as you can see these bars, these daily time frame charting, this is kind of consolidation where the where the light crude oil has been kind of directionless and it has been trading in a narrow range. And on the upper side we have this immediate resistance into this zone of 43 USD per barrel, and that is going to act as a near-term hurdle. And as we have already seen, it has indeed proved to be a strong resistance zone for the light crude oil to cross above. So in the near term, we are indeed trading close to the resistance zone, and because of that, we do need to be careful or cautious, but still the momentum is in favor of the bulls, and because of that, unless and until there is a break below this central pivot point, which is there around 38.6, I would say that staying on the long side is a better idea, is a better trade, and any opportunity to get involved for a long trade with possible target coming in around 43 can be exploited here if you consider the central pivot point. Here also we have this resistance into play around 43 zone, 42.89 to be precise, and till then we don't really have any strong resistance if the price action is able to break above this immediate swing high, and then there is this prior swing high. But if you consider the formation on the lower side, it has been of higher lows, so that does give us some reasons to believe that light crude will continue to trade higher with formation of higher highs and higher lows, and that makes it possible for us to go for a target in the vicinity of USD 43 per barrel. If we consider the SMA zone, here we have this crossover of 50 crossing above the 100 SMA, and if the price action remains above this 200 SMA area, then we will also see this golden crossover of 50 SMA and 200 SMA happening maybe in today's session itself. So that will add further momentum to the light crude oil prices, and unless and until we have a break below this immediate support zone, the action can be taken, the trade can be taken on the long side, and the immediate stop loss can be kept just little below this prior swing low, which is there around 39. So for a entry anywhere close to the 40 USD per barrel levels, I would say that a stop loss of 39 USD per barrel is a good enough idea, and on the higher side we can target the levels above USD 42 per barrel, and those levels will give us a risk reward ratio of 1 is to 2 as well. So from a risk reward perspective as well as from the technical perspective, these are really promising setups in the light crude oil, and as we have already seen here, we had this fall towards the USD 40 per barrel level, but the rebound has been fairly sharp. So that means that there is a strong buying momentum which is coming in around these USD 40 per barrel levels, and if that holds well, and unless and until we have a fresh break on the downside, the light crude oil is likely to remain in the bullish territory, and that gives us an opportunity to get involved for any trade on the long side. So that's it from my side for today's session. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can write it in the comment section, and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Before I sign off, I would also like to remind that there is a risk involved whenever you are trading in the financial instrument, and one should also be careful while using the information provided. Thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous day ahead. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.